The Atlanta Falcons just got some big news that could shake up their defense in a major way. A recent tweet from Dove Kleiman reports that Bengals star pass rusher Trey Hendrickson might sit out the entire 2025 season if he doesn't get a new contract. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler added that Hendrickson is serious about this stance, saying, "I think it's entirely possible he sits out if he doesn't get a new deal." So what does this mean? It means contract negotiations between Hendrickson and the Bengals have hit a wall. The Bengals want to pay him one number, Hendrickson wants another, and neither side is budging. But here's the bigger picture. The Bengals simply can't afford to keep everyone. They've already handed out massive contracts. Ja'Marr Chase is making $40 million a year, Joe Burrow is in the $35 and $40 million range, and T. Higgins is pulling in around $20 and $25 million. You can't have four guys taking up $140 million of cap space and still expect to build a deep, competitive roster. Hendrickson knows his value and isn't interested in a team-friendly deal. That's where the Falcons come in. Atlanta not only has the trade assets to make a deal happen, but they also have the cap space to pay him the $30 to $35 million he's looking for. This situation is developing fast, and based on recent reports, Hendrickson might already be on the trade block. And guess what? The Falcons should be ready to make a move. A couple of weeks ago, Dianna Russini reported that the Cincinnati Bengals were in talks to lock down Trey Hendrickson with a new deal. Fans were hopeful, thinking it could get done by this week, but now, as we're wrapping up the week, there's still no deal in place, and there's a clear reason why. The Bengals are trying to offer Hendrickson a deal around $35 million, a figure that's just too much, especially after they've committed big money to Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, and T. Higgins. As much as I respect Dianna Russini's reporting, I think she might have missed the full picture here. Yes, the Bengals were in talks with Hendrickson, but they likely weren't ready to meet his $35 million demand. Given their already heavy cap commitments, it's tough to see them paying him that amount. Now let's shift focus to the Atlanta Falcons. They have a golden opportunity to swoop in. The Falcons could trade a second-round pick and pay Hendrickson the $35 million he's asking for. If they do, Hendrickson could be the cornerstone of their defense for the next few years. Imagine the impact he could have, potentially elevating the Falcons from a bottom-tier defense to a middle or even upper-tier unit. So, how could Atlanta make it work financially? With Kirk Cousins' contract expiring after this season, the Falcons will free up significant cap space, giving them the flexibility to sign a game-changer like Hendrickson. So, how can the Atlanta Falcons afford to pay Trey Hendrickson? It's simple. When Kirk Cousins' contract comes off the books after this season, the Falcons will have the cap space they need. Of course, they could also extend other players or restructure contracts to make it work, but that chunk of money freed up by Cousins' deal will be key. I truly believe Trey Hendrickson should be in Atlanta for the 2026 season, and his willingness to sit out the entire 2025 season unless he gets the deal he wants, only makes that possibility feel even closer. Now let's think about the Cincinnati Bengals for a second. Can you imagine them without Hendrickson on defense? They've already lost Sam Hubbard, and their defensive line is looking thin. Over the past year or two, Hendrickson has been the one bright spot on that defense. Without him, the Bengals could go from being a playoff contender to a team struggling to even win 6 or 7 games. Sure, their offense will score plenty, but their defense will be a massive liability, especially when you're missing a guy who put up 17 sacks last year. Considering all of this, it seems more likely than ever that Hendrickson could be on the move. If the Bengals don't finalize a deal in the next couple of days, I would bet Hendrickson gets traded to the highest bidder, and that bidder could very well be the Atlanta Falcons. Right now, the Atlanta Falcons have one of the best compensation packages they can offer to the Cincinnati Bengals to land Trey Hendrickson. But what do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts on this situation. The dream isn't over for Falcons fans. Trey Hendrickson is still a real possibility. This tweet just makes that clearer. And if you want to see more videos like this, check this one out right here. As always, peace.